sorry, before I get too carried away just messing around in all kinds of weird keys and weird chords and things like that, I should probably get down to business. It is September 19th, well into 3 weeks since the nail catastrophe, and it still is not working very well. I still have to, I've been using a thumb pick a lot lately because I was playing, the song I played last week, by the way, Bicycle Tune, I was playing that a lot and I was doing it without a pick because it sounds terrible with a pick. Let me see if I can show you. See if I can demonstrate the sound I hate. Not so bad in this part. But now we need more delicacy here. Anyway, see what I mean? Sounds terrible. Compared to... Oh, that hurts though. I shouldn't be doing this. What am I thinking? There we go. Gotta remember what I just played. Oh, I don't know if I remember the rest. Should I try? Let's see. Anyway, something like that, but it doesn't hurt as much today as it did yesterday. Well, never mind. I didn't come here to tell you about my thumb problems. I did. Well, I guess I did. What's been going on here at TG? Some really cool things on the forum. I want to thank Michelle for starting a thread about camp. I'm going to try not to talk too much about camp today because now it's bad memories. That's just bringing back my bad thumb problem. What do we have going on? We've got the Cone of Silence being worked on once again. The student uploader. You've maybe seen today some Jamila and Naz and I have all tried to do some things, and we might have it working soon. What else? Max has put together a really... Oh, I'm going to bring up something about camp because one of the cool things actually has to do with Max's new DVD called Essential Techniques. One of the cool classes that we had this year was Doug's. Doug Young did a class on important techniques, and one thing that was, or useful things to dress up your playing. And it could be as simple as something like this. Suppose you have this little melody that goes... I want to see if I can remember that. And he talked about dressing up some of the notes. So there are about 4 different things I just did there. The second note, instead of just hitting it as a straight E, I did a grace note hammer-on from D. Then I used a slide to get from A to B. Same thing here, maybe a slide into that E. Then I came back to D and put a little vibrato on it. There's another grace note type hammer-on. That one sounds better than the slide. Anyway, the reason I bring that up is that's what's in Max's latest set called Essential Techniques. All kinds of cool things that you can do to dress up your playing. So I hope you guys get a chance to check that out. Obviously, the little jam at the beginning of this was inspired by Lynn's comment on Cowgirl in the Sand. Just a fun song to play, and even by yourself, you know. But I was surprised at her comment about she couldn't remember the words. I can never forget the words to that song for some reason after 40 years. But what else is going on? There's some other cool things on the forum. The Luthier, the hour video that I was glued to a couple days ago, yesterday really just. was really fascinating. The amount of work that goes into nice hand-built guitars, like stuff like this. This is, of course, built by Ed Claxton in Santa Cruz. And yeah, I'm just amazed at the attention to detail on all kinds of little things, little inlays around the side of the neck here. I mean, just the perfectness. It almost seems like somebody couldn't have built this by hand, like it had to be a machine to make it so so perfect. But really, really cool video to going through the process of building. Well, they showed quite a few guitars in different stages of evolution, I guess. Anyway, Dennis had a great question on interesting observation about steps forward and backward, and that's absolutely the way things work on the guitar. You know, you take a few big steps forward and things get easier and smoother, and you notice the improvement. But then it kind of slows down, and sometimes it even does feel like it's stepping back. It really isn't. But you've kind of set the standards a little higher now too many times. So, but great comments in there about. I'm not sure about the Wiley's suggestions about lubricating yourself to sound better. That's something I seem to remember from high school. It always seemed better if we were. Well, never mind. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, some of the new songs we had this week. I want to thank Vanessa for breaking out the George Michael stuff again with Faith. And Dave, let's see. Oh, I have two different things to talk about. Well, let me slow it down. Let me put my thumb pick back on because my thumb hurts. The lesson with Sandy, the Just a Song Before I Go, was one of the first times I ever extensively edited a Fly on the Wall. And it's because there were a lot of times in there where I was fumbling around, or or there was just nothing going on. I was just repeatedly listening to that little thing. She came back this week and did a phenomenal job of it. I will try to. I think I had the camera running. I think I'll try to get that one up for you next week. The follow up to Just a Song Before I Go. And I hope everybody noticed that I did add that tab to the original lesson. So if you're looking for that little thing of what we did with figuring out the opening lead, it's on the lesson under the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young segment. So what else was I going to talk about? Dave, Kindred Spirits. This was a fun song to do, and the Dave's a perfect example of somebody who makes the song up as he goes. I mean, makes up the accompaniment, doesn't worry about what he did on the record 20 years ago. I guess it was originally a CD. By the time he made that, it was 1997, so I don't think we actually ever had that on vinyl. But 96 maybe. Anyway, but like Townes Van Zandt songs and things like that, every time they pick it, they're not worried about coming up with the exact same thing. The chord progression generally doesn't change, although Dave's with Kindred Spirits has evolved a little bit. I mean, I think it's just one of the coolest stories out there, that this 10-year-old kid got to play with Elizabeth Cotten, and then 20 years later wrote a cool song about it. But where am I going with this? What I was going to tell you is, when I talked to Dave last week, or as I was working on the lesson, and I said, hey, do you want me to send you the tab to this to see, to proofread it, see how accurate it is? And he said, oh, I don't really look at tabs that often, so it wouldn't matter. Whatever you put down, he had faith in me that I would have it right. And that brought up an interesting thing, because I know most students really, I think tablature is a really, really valuable tool for learning things. But there are many musicians out there that never learn how to read music, or don't bother to even take the time to look up things in tab, because they have, one of the reasons, there are a lot of reasons people can do this, but people like Dave have a phenomenal ear and just, I almost hate to use the word instinct, but natural ability to hear something and maybe see it, and just reproduce it. And it doesn't have to, they've got a good sense of timing and of all those little inflections, slides, hammer-ons, all that kind of stuff, just sort of develop naturally in some great musicians. So he would be an example of one of those. Oh man, Ed was here working on Okay, Lynn, I know you know what that one is, but we might be working on a lesson on that. Anybody else out there recognize where we just stole that? That was Ed's lesson this week. I'll leave that up as the mystery tune, but we might get into some more of that ragtime kind of picking a little bit later, and some really Tom Waits style singing, but it wasn't Tom. So, okay, I think that's it. I'm heading away for the weekend. Nani and I got a little getaway planned to Morro Bay and Paso Robles area, so I will be back. Well, I'll be back Sunday, but be back with more news next week on Friday.